Lucius. Please. Luca. Nicholas.
Like a fire is burning, latter day glory
I might want to mute yourself.
to temple.
You can do mute all needed.
Lost audio. To unmute Nancy. Heather?
Took me a while to figure out how to unmute.
Okay.
I was trying to fix it, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to offer the opening prayer now. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful that the gospel is rolling forth, that temples are available throughout the world, and that we have an opportunity to be part of this, thy work. Please bless us tonight to learn something and inspire a little bit of in our hearts that we will see what we can do next to further this work and to be involved in it. Strengthen us that we might each know how to help each other in this work. This we say in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. I just love those. I think there's a couple of them out there, and I just love watching them every single time. They just always give me goosebumps and make me so glad that I'm alive during this time of the history of the church and the world. Along with that thought, Diane Okermenko made the comment that perhaps it might be a nice idea to fast for the temples to open. So I thought on Fast Sunday in February, we could just remember that in our fast, along with the bishop also said, we also need to fast for rain and snow. So just some things to remember so that our temples can be open so we can do this work for the people that we are finding. Thank you all for coming to our training meeting today. I just kind of want to let you know what to expect in the future. What we're hoping to do is our way of trying to help further the work and to help you is to provide education. And so we have a goal this year, and our theme kind of our goal theme is learn, then serve. We stole it from BYU. You know, at BYU to go forth to learn, you go to learn and you go forth to serve. And so I thought it's the same thing with family history. You come and learn and then you go forth and you serve. You're either serving your ancestors or you're teaching what you've learned to somebody else. And so that it can keep populating, just like that video that we had at the beginning. And so that's our theme for the year. And so we are providing classes as much as we can, just to help you if you wanted to just gain some knowledge or send friends to our classes. So on the first and third Sunday evenings, right now, since we can only do Zoom, that's why we're doing Sunday evenings, and that will change probably when we can start meeting together in real life. But on the first and third, Nancy Hugo, who gave the opening prayer, will be teaching basic classes on a variety of subjects, you know, whether it's basic family search or how to go to find a grave. Right now, she's kind of focusing on RootsTech a little bit. Then on the second Sunday will always be our training. And what I'd like for training more is to have a discussion, to be able to discuss different ideas with each other, because you're all consultants and we're kind of hoping that we can help each other to be able to, you know, someone may have a great idea that you could use in your ward that may help to get people energized. And so we'll have a discussion each time, and I'll usually send out an email. Well, I always send out an email, and I will usually ask for you to bring an idea of something that you've tried or just an idea that you might think might be interesting. And then for the remainder of the time, Nancy will teach a class, not a long class like she would do on the first and third, but a shorter one, so that we can just give you more information so that you can go forth and serve in your callings. And so that's kind of what we have planned. So I try to send out emails, at least in our stake and Freedom Stake. I do a newsletter. I haven't done this month yet, but I'll send out a newsletter letting you know of all the events that are coming up, and we'll try and post that on the South Stake page too, because we haven't been able to get them to send out a blanket email yet. But just so you know, next Sunday, Nancy's teaching an introduction to family search. Then the next one we're going to have the fourth, oh, I didn't say the fourth Sunday will be more in depth. There'll be a class that's a little bit more in depth. Bring your computers, we'll do hands-on. And this month, it's going to be on how getting the most out of Ancestry.com. Then in February, the first Sunday, she's going to do searching at Family Search. And the third Sunday, she will do getting ready for RootsTech. And then the last week, we thought it'd be good if we could share what we learned from RootsTech. And we're encouraging people to sign up for RootsTech. It's free. This is probably the only year it will ever be free. And so Nancy will show you a little bit, we'll tell you a little bit more about that. So that's just kind of what our goals are, so that we can help you learn, so that you can go forth and serve. And we're a resource. We're not here to preach to you other than, you know, encourage you. And we're just here as a resource to help you as much as we can with your callings and in helping with your wards or your friends or your relatives or whatever in engaging in this work. Now, one thing that we have done is that, do I have share screen? Can I share a screen, Heather? Okay. I want to show you one thing that we've prepared for you that I'm going to send out as an email to all of you. It's this little handout here. I'm going to email it to you, and it has all these links, so that if people say, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to start, I don't have any idea where to start with family history, these are just ideas of things to do to start. They could play games, and then here's links to different games and ideas for games. You could get familiar with Family Search. Here's the same game that we had up here. My son put together this little game, how to navigate Family Search. We just went through and picked out as many links and things that we could find, or from our own classes that we've taught, that you could just go watch and look at if you want to. how to index, sign up for free family search partner sites. You know, somebody could just pick one thing for a family home evening and do it, or one thing on a Sunday afternoon and just do one thing. And that way they're doing something with family history that might be interesting to them, or at least get them familiar with it. So there's like 2 pages full of ideas. And then this link right here at the bottom takes you to a list of all the classes that we've taught in 2020. And so they're also in this list here, but if you just want to see a list of them all in one, you can go here and pick and choose from the different classes that we've taught. And then here's our contact information, so that if you need to contact us, you can. So I'm going to send that out to everybody that I invited to this meeting so that you can use it for your wards or share it with whoever you'd like to share it with. And then the other thing that we're going to do is that Heather put together
Could you add my email to that list as well? I'm like a co-chair, so it doesn't actually say it on like the LDS tools that I'm one of the leaders, but I'd like to be included as well. I can type my email.
oh yes,
Yeah,
put it in
type
the
your
chat.
email, or I have, I'm gonna send out a sign up sheet that's who I contact. I text or email every week. So
Okay.
let me send you the link to that in the chat, and then you can just fill that out, and but also probably fill out your email so that Diane has it. But there's the email.
Thank you.
Maybe
Or
I can get that
there's
list.
the form to fill out.
Then I can get that list from you too, so I can send this to everybody on that list as well. Okay. Another thing that we're going to do is we thought about a few months ago, we tried to start a little bit, but we're going to start it a little bit more in earnest, is to start one-on-ones. So that if you would like to have a one-on-one experience with one of us, then we'll have a Google sheet that you can fill out. And we actually have 3 choices, like a beginning level, intermediate level, or an advanced level of what you would like to talk about. And the time.
Should I
preference
also
that you
post
have.
that link
Oh, yeah.
or not
Yeah.
yet?
And I'm going to
Okay,
send that out.
I'll
to
post
everybody
that
as
link.
well. I'm going to send that along with this, the handout that I'm going to email. I'll email that link as well, so that if you'd like to have a one-on-one, and then we encourage you to do the same thing in your wards. So if you know something that maybe something about family search or ancestry or whatever, somebody could have a one-on-one with you, and you could help them that way. We kind of figured that the best way to get people excited is one-on-one, because that way they're doing something more hands-on. Okay, so in the email that I sent to all of you, I asked you to bring an idea. So did anybody bring an idea? I can start thinking about it. I'll give you a couple. One, this isn't an idea, but this is a question that came from Jessa. She said her daughter's turning 8 years old soon. And she wanted to know of some activities or things that her daughter could do without a parent hovering over her. And so do you all have any ideas or things that you've done with your younger children? Because 8-year-olds can sign up for an account with a parent's permission.
I know I've seen some cute little booklets at, you know, at the, what do you call it? Not Desert.
Distribution center?
Yeah, distribution center, and they're free.
Oh, they're coloring. Oh, there's coloring books too, and we have them at the Family History Center if you'd like to get those.
That's a nice thing. I mean, it's paper, and then, but she can, you know, ask her grandparents things and write it in herself, and then she can type, you know, and then she can transfer it. So I know I've seen those things there.
Those have been discontinued,
Oh,
but they still have, we still have probably a few around. And they're a good way to kind of begin because you can write it on paper.
Yeah.
I think they're called My Family.
Yeah, it has been a few years since I've seen one. Yeah.
I loved them. I was sad to see them go.
Mm-hmm.
We might have still a few. Any other ideas? I know there's games on Family Search that you can go to. The activities. You've all seen that, I'm sure.
Oh,
Oops, I need to.
I was going to do this in my part of the lesson, but let
Okay,
me show it now.
never mind. Nancy, you want me to do it now or you want
A
to do it?
while ago from Shutterfly, which is a photo place, they offered matching cards. And so with pictures on them. So I made up a set of games that has all of my children and grandchildren, and then another set that has my parents and grandparents on little, they're about 3.5 by 3.5 squares of cards. And you spread them out on the table and then take turns turning over two and trying to find a match. And because it has pictures of all of the cousins or all of the aunts and uncles, it can help those who don't live close to family stay in touch with and learn who their relatives are. So that's a good game for about an 8-year-old.
I love it. That sounds fun. Do you want me to show them where the activities are, or do you want to do that during
I'll do
your part?
that. I'll
You'll
do
do
that.
that? Okay. Nancy will show you that a little bit later.
Diane,
Yes.
we did that game just a little while ago when we had over our grandson who has been married for like 6 months. And one of my daughters had made that game for us. So I got out all of those and put them out and I said, we're going to play match 'em. And they kind of looked at me, but Caden knew what they were. And she was so thrilled to turn them over because they were pictures taken when he was growing up, before the age of 16. So she was thrilled to death, and she got to know people in the family. And, you know, it was a neat way to reminisce, but also to connect her to our side of the family. So it was really fun for an adult to play. And I've heard of them doing those at reunions before, taking Grandpa's picture now and Grandpa's picture when he was a little boy. You have to find the two and know who it is. And then, I don't know if you get to put them on a board or, you know, a family tree that's on, you know, or whatever, but that's another, but anyway. So even though the child is only 8, there's a fun thing to do with other people in your family.
I love it. Thank you.
Diane, I had one, if I could, right quick, before it goes on. And that was that when I was doing the training, one of the things that helped me was when I discovered that, because I knew this Family Search was a public record, and with lots of inputs in from other people. And I was very concerned about, especially with merging, that I would mess something up in records that were not solely my records. And so when I heard that records of our living family is not on that, but it's personal to ourselves or private to ourselves, that helped me, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, but that helped me. And I had a problem in my with my mother. I had the records that said she was deceased, and said others said she was. So maybe they wouldn't have those types of records to merge. I don't know, but it just seemed like, to get familiar with things, to use Family Search for the living, and to get all your living stuff organized with your family. It seemed like, you know, you'd be working with your living family, and to get that record up to date. And then once you're at that point, I would think that you'd feel more comfortable, at least I will, to then start working on the deceased. So I just thought part of the beginning might be experimenting with people's living records.
That's a great idea. She wouldn't be able to see other living people unless she entered them, but she could enter her siblings if they're not in there. And she could even practice adding photos to her own site if she wanted to. So yeah, or he, maybe it's a he. I think it's a she. But thank you. Those are good ideas.
I wanted to share an idea too. It was from another ward that I was in, but the family history people, they were older people. And so they would ask families if they wanted to sign up to have this couple go visit them on family home evening. and share some fun ideas. And it was a great, about family history, and gear it to the age that they were. Like, you didn't have to have kids, but it was like a time that you could have some one-on-one help and that you get to know each other better in your ward. However, we can't do that right now because of COVID. And I don't think FaceTime would be that great, but it's something to think about.
Right.
Even, a way that you could share something with someone that they might like to have for family home evening and help them, I don't know, just create a little excitement, or interest in, just help it along,
That sounds great. Thank you. Today we
John and I should be complimented that these were older people that
Well,
were that needed
yeah,
to come. So that should compliment John and I.
today we had Wes Marriott is our lead in our ward, and we had a meeting, and he had an awesome idea that you guys might want to do in your wards. I told him all about bribery. I love anything that makes family history fun, that makes people laugh, that makes them smile, so that people don't get bogged down and think it's boring and horrible. And so I love bribery. And so it wasn't a bribery idea, but he had the thought of maybe creating tasks. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wes, but like a list of tasks, several tasks that people could get through. And if they got through them, then they would get a prize, a reward. And then he went on, maybe that you could have even a ward-wide contest, and whoever had the most in your ward, you could maybe give them a DNA kit, which I thought was kind of a fun idea. So, and I thought, if all the wards did something like that, we could even get involved with a stake, and maybe the ward that had the most, we could provide a special reward for the whole ward, maybe like a dinner or whatever, because we'll probably have a little more budget this year if we can't have real live activities.
Yeah, and I thought that it was just, I don't know. I think that I think that often family history could get the reputation of maybe being like, oh, this is a little bit like maybe boring genealogy work or whatever, but like getting something where we all know that it's fun because we're all here, and we all know that it has a lot of benefits, spiritual benefits and experiences, but getting people involved, I think that sometimes they just need something to do. And so we're thinking that just having a few tasks that they could do, and then they have like something to turn in and something to show their work for, kind of that gets them showing that they're connected to the ward as the ward is doing this together. And then just, rewards are always fun. So it's just fun. And the DNA kit, I don't know how much they actually cost, but they would be, I think it'd be kind of a fun thing for people to, and it kind of fits
during
with
Roots Tech, they'll be on sale. So maybe we should buy a bunch.
buy a bunch. Yeah, maybe that's not a bad idea.
Use the budget, huh?
And I love the whole idea of small tasks. If you give them a list of just small things, you could even say, go pick something off that list that we gave them.
So some ideas of small tasks might be resolve some hints, index a batch or two, make sure you have the family search app on your phone, submit a name for temple work, do a temple ordinance. Those are some ideas.
Or even go to the front page and do a task, or even just watch a video. Go watch a video somewhere, or just you can have as a family could watch a video, and if I'm teaching it, you could make fun of me, and I'll be fine with that.
To add to that, if that's okay. So the Pioneer Pioneer Bookstore on Center Street in Provo, they are doing this thing. It's their 2021 reading challenge, and it's all like on a little bookmark, and it has like, I don't want to say like 12 or 15 different requirements or like books that you would read. And some of them are really easy. It's like, read a book from your childhood, and then there's like 4 that are bolded that you need a little more help to do. And so I wondered if we could do something like that, like where there's some that are really easy, like, add a photo to your own living account, log into it. And then there could be some of the harder ones, because for some people, finding a name isn't that simple. Like, for some people, A, they don't have records to go off of, it's really complicated, or B, most of their work has already been done by family members and they feel stuck that way. And so maybe it would be like, 15 different things. If they get all those done during the year, they are qualified to be put in a raffle for the test kit or something, some bigger prize. But then they also, it'd be like a scavenger hunt almost, like your family's history scavenger hunt. And then it's kind of a fun thing families can do together. There can be some that are more kid-centric ones that are for more adults. And then it just give people a variety of different places to dip their toe in. And I don't know, I just think that was an idea that came to mind as well.
Would that be good on a ward or a stake basis?
I think that maybe that's more like something that would be given to a family, like the little.
Oh yeah, for a ward to do that. I love that. To have little tiny things they could just check off, and maybe not. I would do it in a shorter time period, so that people will keep energized. Maybe like in a month or two.
Maybe they could unlock the next bookmark. Like.
Oh yeah.
Bookmark. One of them could be to attend one of the classes that we're offering, and then so for people who do get more into it, we could keep giving them more challenges, kind of. I mean, people like video games, people like board games. So if you have these achievements they have to unlock, that's kind of exciting for people. So anyway, there's an idea.
Yes. And the thing is that once they start doing anything in family history, eventually the spirit of Elijah grabs them. And then they really get caught, and then they'll just keep going. So
in the South Stake, they would like that. The leaders, I think, would like that to be directed by the ward, family history lead, and elders quorum. That's
great.
That's pretty much the instructions we've received in the South Stake.
Can I say something too? She picked my imagination or my memory when she said that some people think their work is all done. I can promise and guarantee everyone that they have not done their work. If they think their work is all done, they don't know how to do Sister Rogers' descendancy research. I have always said, all my line is done. I'm spending all my time doing my wife's work now. But I've always heard, well, all the Baird work is done. Well, Sister Rogers took me and took 15 minutes and did a little bit on part of the line that was already done. And in 15 minutes, she had 12 brand new names for me. And so it's not the work is done. It's just we don't know how to do it and how to find those people. So that's one of the really important things that you can learn from.
And anybody that wants to watch the video of that lesson can contact Heather, and she'll tell them how to find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I feel like that, the way I do it is methodical, but I think if we can just get them into Family Search and just to even test the waters, that the Lord will kind of guide them. And if there's a pocket of descendants that can be found, then the Lord will guide them that direction. It's just, I think our objective right now is to get their toes wet, and just so that they get a little tiny bit of a taste of it, and pray like crazy that the Spirit just pours out all over them. So those are a couple of things. Now, do you have more ideas? I love the bookmark idea. I love that. I like having little things I can check off like that. And maybe you have techie people in your wards too that could create it virtually, like a Google type of thing that they could click on. And children, I think Wes mentioned we could even do something for children and for youth, something that's geared for them, and they could have their own separate prizes, or the youth could have their own separate things. And it could, anyways, I kind of got excited about that idea because I love things that have rewards at the end of them.
Diane,
Yes, Jeff.
how old's Eldon?
42.
Our son is an estimator for a big construction company. He's very busy, but somehow, and we don't know exactly how it happened, but he's on fire, and he's named after an ancestor from back in what, early?
He's born in 1854.
Born in 1854.
His namesake. Our son has his name, the name of Rick's great grandfather. And it's just going amazing. And we're going to go to Colorado this summer. He's planning this camping trip right where he was a miner in Colorado. And so it's become very fun, I think, for his family. And he's got us lined up. We're supposed to do an online class about this area before we go. But it's kind of like, oh, what would you call it?
It's just fun. I mean, it's caught fire, and we're all going. You know, there's a big granite boulder up in the mountains around Pikes Peak where his name was carved into the stone, and we're looking for that. And it's just going to be a big family activity, and it's going to solve some things that we're kind of in question about. You know, there was a group of them that left Iowa, went out there and lived, and friends and everything, and then went back, and so I just want to share it because it is fun when somebody all of a sudden, I mean, Jill was emailing him just during this meeting, you know, back and forth.
Oh, cool.
He's just lit up. I mean, he's checking the census records, you know, all kinds of city and county records, and I mean, he feels like he's a detective, and he's just really ball of fire right now. And it's nice when it happens to somebody, you know, in your family to generate a lot of that.
Jeff Morris, did you have something?
I was just going to say, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear? All right. I was just going to have a headset on. I was just going to say 8 greats is a good way to start. You said about getting a taste, and if people can memorize the names of their 8 greats and then learn a bit about them, that's a good place to start. That'll start to connect them with their ancestors and the heart.
Oh, cool. They turn 8, they learn their 8 greats. I love it.
Learn the 8 greats. That's a good beginning.
That means we have 8 great grandparents. Okay?
That's great. That, you know, it's great to be 8. So learn your 8. Okay, so are there other ideas? I can't see both pages at once. I can't see if there's a hand coming up, or just start talking if you have one.
I have one other little idea. And we talked a little, we talked a little bit about this in a little ward meeting we had today, but just the idea of the humanity of family history is found through the stories of the people. And so I think another valuable thing to consider is how can those stories be shared with the young kids and with families that kind of help to inspire them. I know that, I know maybe some people don't feel like they have that many cool stories to tell, but like even just looking at old photographs of, you know, the fashion and the friendships that were there and the old cars and I like focusing on the people, but I think that the stories of those we are doing the work for are what can really impact people and make them excited. So I don't know if there's a way we could like share a cool story about the people that we're doing research for. That might be a nice idea as well.
That's a great idea. In fact, my grandmother had written some really hilarious stories about my grandfather. So one year what I did is that I made it like a children's book with just a sentence on each paper, and I gave it to all the grandkids to draw the pictures to go with the story. And so we made our own storybook. And then did you all see President Oaks and his wife? They had I think it was on Facebook, they had a book in front of them, and they had created a storybook of the stories of their ancestors and that they would read to their grandchildren. So thank you for bringing that up. That is just a really great idea. And like you said, if you don't have stories, maybe I can add to this list. I wrote a blog for work. It's called Put Skin on Your Bones. And so I could send the link for that, of just a lot of ideas of how you can find historical biographical information about your family, even if they didn't leave you any stories. There's ways, like she said, to find out about the cars at the time, or maybe things that were going on in their town, or go to the court records and you might find like Gail Earls where he was, oh, this is just a funny story, where he was 15 years old. He in the 1800s, I guess he pulled a knife on somebody, took him to court, and finally they found him guilty, but they waived all the costs because he had no money. So it was, it's just kind of a funny story. So you never know. Yeah. Yes.
When I was talking to my uncle about some bunch of pictures they gave me, and they gave me kind of like the pictures no one wants, you know, the ones where somebody's doing something kind of caught off guard, just not really the wonderful pictures. And yet there was one of my dad washing his car, and I forget what the year was of the car. I'm pretty sure, since it was in the early it was late, like 49, 1949, that it was probably a lot sooner with the car's age. And to me, it looked wonderful, but it was black and white. But the thing is that he bought the car for $100. And then the next year, my dad and mom got married, and he needed all the money he could find to live on. And because they were 19 and 17. And my dad sold his car to his younger brother. Well, the youngest brother was only 14. I think he was 14 or 13, but he had $100. And so he sold the car, which the boy could not even drive, to his younger brother for $100, so that he would have that money to start out their new life together. And I was so thrilled when I found a picture of him washing this car, and it was amongst all these pictures, but with the story behind it, it was really neat, because I asked my dad one time, I said, why doesn't anybody tell stories? And he says, well, they all just lived ordinary lives. But see how something small really meant a lot to me.
I hope you have put that under memories in Family Search.
I need to do that, but I do need to do that, Nancy. Now that you remind me of it, I do. But it's just, isn't that neat? And I've told other people, because my mother died when I was 18. So I hadn't developed that bond that you get as a married woman with my mother yet. And so I still had the relationship of get your homework done, get your chore, you know, that kind of relationship. And she was sick for the last 3 years. But the thing is that I didn't know her as a person. I knew the mother facade. I saw the performing facade of her. So when I talk to cousins, I say, tell me what she's really like. Tell me something about her. And they kind of look at me like I want the dirt. I don't want the dirt. I loved her laugh. Tell me what made her laugh. Because I don't know my mother the way my daughters know me, because I never got that experience with her. So anyway, I'm sorry to take so much time.
No, you're fine. I just realized what time it is, and we need to give some time to Nancy. So if y'all have more ideas, shoot me an email, and I will put them all together and send them to everyone. So as you have ideas, just send me an email, and I would love to gather all those together. So Nancy, we're going to turn the balance of the time over to you.
Okay, I'm going to go real fast to start out with. What is Roots Tech that we've been talking about? Roots Tech is a conference to teach all about family history. And it is done very high tech, which is why it's called Roots Tech. It's usually thousands and thousands of attendees at the Salt Palace in Salt Lake. This year, because of COVID, it is going to be free instead of $100 and something. And it is going to be online. So anybody that wants to go can go for free, and you can go just to the parts that you're interested in. You don't have to go the whole thing. It is on February 25th through 27th, which is 3 days. Among the things we want to know is that Elder Holland and his wife are talking on Saturday morning. There is something exciting that they're doing. I'm going to share screen now, and I hope nobody minds seeing my screen, because I want to show you one of the things that they've come up with, and it's called Discover Relatives at Roots Tech. And after you sign up for free, then you can do this, and it says visit familysearch.org//connect, and you get this kind of a screen. And as you go downward on this screen, it will tell you, because it has you log into Family Search. My Everett line are my non-LDS line. It says that 27 of my Everett cousins are registered to go to Roots Tech. Now, it doesn't tell me yet which the 27 are. I think it will later. The line of family that I have researched the most is my Michael family. And it says I have one Michael relative coming to Roots Tech. My goodness, this is not an LDS line at all. I am so curious who that person is. So that's something that we're going to want to do is follow this through and look at our relatives and see who is going to Roots Tech that we might want to make contact with. There is another cool thing that Family Search has just come up with. And it is called ancestors.familysearch.org. Can you see that over here? You type that into the address line on your browser. This is going to give you a ancestor page for your relative. And I thought, oh, I've already seen the pages for my relatives on Family Search. But this is done in a different way. And you have to be able to use the alphabet. But so you go to you have to drill down to who your ancestors are. So I choose M for my Michaels. And then I have to know my alphabet well enough that I can figure out where between what and what is Michael, M-I-K. So I think that it's going to be on this line. And then I go down to M-I-K-E-L. My husband's helping me find it. It would be on this line. And here are a list of my ancestors that name starts with, and this is really goofy because it has the comma after the first name, and we usually put the comma after the last name. But so if I go down on here, I should get to where I find Michael's. Whoops, looks like we didn't choose the right one in the previous screen. We want M-I-K-E. Where, Charles? M-I-K-E. Oh, we have to come down a long ways. I couldn't figure out how to highlight this to make it easier to find. So I wanted to find Walter Sherman Michael. So I have to go down a little bit farther. It would be on this line, I think. So Michael, Walter Sherman. And by now it's choosing just the ones that are really in my tree. So here is Walter Sherman Michael. He is my great-grandfather. And so I know what his page looks like on Family Search, but this is way different. There is nothing except the activities on this page that isn't on his page on Family Search, but this is just created in such a neat way. Look, how does this happen? I don't have any memories of him inserted. I should at least have a memory of just lately in the last couple of years, we got his tombstone and went to his cemetery and planted it in the cemetery. But here it tells some things about where he lived. The computer wrote up his life story. just from things that it could find on his family search page. One of the fun things is that I could go to traditional dress, and it's going to show me what some people looked like and their clothing looked like at the time that he lived. So I could choose American, and then I choose which of those American photos I want. And then it's not letting me do it probably because it's on screen, but it lets me take a picture of myself and put it in this person's clothes so that I can see what maybe a woman in this time frame looked like. And that was fun to see how my picture came out in a couple of those. So this is a really fun thing. If you're just interested and you just want to play around with family history for a while, try this. So the address on the line would be, I'm not finding the right tag right now, but it would be ancestors with an S, ancestors.familysearch.org. So that would be something that any of us could do anytime, or if we were trying to help somebody in our family or in our ward be interested in family search, we could look up a couple of these people on this page. Which reminds me of the Discovery Center in Lehigh and in Salt Lake and in St. George. And when you go to the Discovery Center, it has many of these same activities that are available on Family Search, but they're on huge screens and presented in a way that it really draws you in. So that would be an excellent thing to do a Friday night or a family home evening night or any kind of those activities with your family at the Lehigh Family History Center, which is right close to Thanksgiving Point. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what your screen looks like when you first open it up to Family Search. So when you first open it up, this is what your screen will look like. And this line right here is the beginning line for if you wonder what you could do in family history and you just kind of want to get started. You don't really know what to do or if you can do anything or if you want to do anything. I promise you that if you will take any of these activities that I'm going to show you and do it for 4 hours, that the Lord's going to bless you with an interest in this angle of family history. Each of us have different talents and different interests. Some of us are going to like doing something more than we like something else. And what you like the most is what you should do the most. So here, when we first open it up, this line here is the line I'm telling you is interesting and exciting. The first thing here that is, well, it's on the same page, but not on that line, is this place called Recommended Tasks. And you can either click all the tasks, record tasks, or people who need temple work, and follow any of these people down. And at one time I thought, oh, I'm all through with that. And then I found out it said, show more. And I kept going and kept going and kept going. It is amazing how much family history needs to be done that we can do there. So on the list up here at the top, going to the temple. If we check this, the temple work, we can see a list of temple work that we have reserved ourselves. Or we can find temple work that somebody else has done. These are names that somebody, oh, that's still my list. If we choose ordinances ready, we will come up with a list of names that people who are related to us who didn't have time to go to the temple or wanted to get done, and they have already submitted them for temple work. These are names of our ancestors that are waiting for one of us to please go to the temple and do the work. And we can choose which ordinance we want to do, and the computer will go through and search that for us. And it will give us enough to do for one session at the temple. So if I selected that I would like to do initiatory work for my ancestors. Here they are, 5 of them. People waiting, ready to go, ready for me to print up and take to the temple when it opens again, because we're all gonna fast and it's gonna, they're gonna open up again. So ordinances ready is something we can do anytime that we want to go to the temple and do our own family's name. Activities. Here are a bunch of activities that we can do. They're going to include games. They're going to include a list of maybe a map of where we're from. Compare a face is really fun, because when you click on that and use the camera that's on in your computer, it will take a picture of you, and then you can go through your family group sheet, your pedigree chart, and it will tell you which people you look the most like. For example, it says that I look the most like my mother. That pleases me. People often tell me that I look a lot like my sister. Now, her picture is not already going to be on Family Search unless I've submitted it because she's living and I'm living. A place to record our story. Some in-home activities and games we can play with our children. These would all be great activities for home evening or for a family get-together. If we were going to go help somebody in our ward that had never done family history before, any of these activities would be great places to start. And we could play with them ourselves for an hour or two. Indexing. What is indexing? Anytime you try to search on the computer on records that have been maybe digitized and so they're on the computer, but not indexed, they're a lot harder to find. If someone goes through that record and creates an index of the record, the information in that record, it makes research so much better. So that is what we call indexing. And if you click under the indexing tab, it will give you guidance in how to get started on indexing. Some people think that they're not really interested in doing research, but they want to do family history and they get very involved in indexing. Some parents have told their kids, you spend too much time with your devices on the screen, so I'm going to make a rule, you can only have 1 hour of screen time for every hour you spend indexing. And that's been good both for decreasing screen time and increasing the number of records that have been indexed. And if you want to have a lesson about indexing and getting started, send Heather an email and we'll keep track of that and decide when to have it in another class. Memories are something that we love so much. When you look at a certain person's page on Family Search, you can look up their memories and you will see pictures and articles and stories about that particular family member. I clicked gallery because these are all of the ones that I have submitted to Family Search. Here's just a couple of beautiful pictures. Here is my father-in-law and my mother-in-law before they married. They met at the U.S. Army Hospital for the amputees from World War II. And so that's a picture of them. Here's the watch my dad always wore. Here's a picture of my father-in-law in the wheelchair because he had no legs, standing next to his friend, or his friend is standing next to him. He has one leg. And here's my 3-year-old husband getting acquainted with his stepfather-to-be. What a fun thing it is to go relative by relative through their place on their sheet on Family Search and see the different activities or memories, stories, photos, documents, and in some cases audio that people have submitted. Somebody has submitted the audio of my grandfather singing the songs he used to sing when he came to visit us. You know, that's priceless. Search. Some of us get really interested in searching. I enjoy looking in records and finding the ones that tell about something that I want to know about in regards to my ancestors. Some of us are going to want to look and find out who in our family tree really needs to be researched about and to research them. Family tree is about the one, in family tree, there is one huge family tree. And if it's my relatives, you can also look them up. And if you know more about them than I do, you can add them. And so this chart under family search, actually we have several different ways of making it. We can make it like a traditional pedigree chart, or we can do the fan chart. And we like looking at the fan chart because we see so many different ways. Looking at it this way, we can just see parents' names and grandparents' names. If we look under this way, we can see which country, according to their birth location, these ancestors are from. Now, another thing you might notice when you see this is that I have a whole lot of research to do on this line and on this line and on this line, where I need to find out, do more and find out more research. So that's a good clue for me about which ones we know about. This view shows which people have been searched and have sources attached to their names. This view shows who has had stories written about them and posted under memories. See, not very many stories. Photos, well, we have a few more photos, but there's a lot of people there that don't have any photos. Ordinances is going to tell us who needs temple work done. I can look at this and I immediately know who needs temple work. Yellow, orange, and green. Which temple work needs to be done. Maybe only a little bit more information will help us to do the temple work for some specific person. Research helps. These are people in my family who need research along a specific thing. What I particularly like here is the blue ones. The blue ones means that the computer algorithms have figured out that we probably a record about this person has been indexed. And I've done a lot of research on Lorenzo Dow Wade. I should click on his name and look up, let's do that, and see what, and I might have to move my pictures around again. No, I don't have to move my pictures around again. It says that the computer, somebody, some group of people, indexed the marriages from Illinois in the years 1815 to 1935, and he married in the late 1830s. So somebody has indexed this, and if I click on his name and then follow through the steps on the different pages, I can get proof of the record of his marriage. Then I can attach it as a source. And then as people would look up, looks like somebody has already done one. Oh, looks like I already did one of the references to his, he was married 3 times in the late 1830s in Illinois. First wife died, second wife died, third wife lived. And I'm descended from the second wife. And so this way people can look up and see exactly what his record looked like when he married, and maybe find out something new, maybe find out his wife's father's name. That was a hard thing to find out. And it didn't happen to be in the Illinois record, but some records it would be in. So following through the hints, which we find by looking under research helps, and seeing who is the different colors. And I'd have to move my Zoom pictures in order to be able to see, to remind myself what the red, well, red means that there's something in that record of him or her that is not complete and accurate. Like maybe his birthday doesn't have a complete birthday. Maybe it just says something confusing. And so if you put in the correct, if you uncomplicate it, then that would go away. I forget what it is about my daughter here that it lists wrong, but it was something that wouldn't be very difficult to fix. But all of the blue ones are the ones I really like because they're the hints. Anyone who wants to get started with family history and will seriously, with their brain turned on, follow through a hint, you're almost certain, if you do more than just 2 or 3, to learn something new about that person that nobody else knew. Maybe their father-in-law is listed in the census with them. Maybe their wife is listed on their death certificate. So many clues you're going to get for research, or that somebody else will get because you tie it to them on their page on Family Search. So these research helps are really, really wonderful things, and I love the blue hints as a place to get started. So I think that if you will add a photo or memory, write memories of people that are older than you, add old photos. And by the way, our Family History Center has a high-speed scanner for if you have lots of photos you want to scan. We also have Photoshop elements on our one computer that's hooked to a color printer at the Family History Center. And as the temples open back up, so will the Family History Centers. And those will be available to us. Right now, if you really wanted to use those things, I think you could probably arrange with Diane to make an appointment. If you follow through on hints, if you follow through on some of the tasks that I showed first, or if you help prepare names for the temple, you will find that as you do that, and I mean not 5 minutes, you need to spend an hour, I said earlier, three hours. You will begin to have the spirit of temple work and family history, which we tend to call in the church the spirit of Elijah. This will become a real part in your life. That's my testimony tonight. Everybody is going to have a different part of these things up here that they're interested the most in. All of them are family history. It doesn't have to be that you do the research to get a name ready for the temple. Any of these things are family history. So that is my testimony to you, that if you will do them or help somebody else learn how to do them, you will find that the spirit of Elijah and an understanding and love for your family members comes into your life. And I think also the Lord blesses us then with the ability to handle other problems in our life. So that is my testimony to you, and that is the end of my lesson.
Thank you very much, Nancy. I appreciate that. It's a great overview and encouragement. We would like to close now, and I forgot to ask for a prayer. Jill, would you mind giving us the closing prayer?
Sure.
And I will be sending an email to everybody.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're so thankful for this time that we've been able to spend together, and it's really been good and positive. And we pray, Father in heaven, that each one of us will be blessed to choose those activities and to do work for our family. And Father in heaven, we also say a special prayer that our land might be blessed with rain and with snow and all the moisture that it needs as we're getting far into the season where we should have more. And we pray, Father in heaven, that we'll be blessed. And also, Father in heaven, we pray that as time goes on, that the temples will open soon, and that we'll be able to go back and perform the ordinances that we need to. And we thank thee for all our many blessings. And these things we say in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, so much for coming. I am really, you have no idea how grateful I am. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Diane.
much.